Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. I'm Brian Kilmeade, and unless you know something different, I'll be filling in for Tucker for the entire hour. By the day, there are more reasons to be skeptical about Special Counsel Robert Mueller's so-called independent investigation. In a blog post published Tuesday, get this, New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, the former state senator, boasted about more than 100 different actions he has taken to resist and sabotage the Trump administration. So why does that matter? Well, Schneiderman has also been collaborating with the Mueller investigation. The New York Times is even speculating that Schneiderman will try to prosecute on the state level if the federal level can't. And Trump attempts to pardon individuals who have been indicted. Maybe they'll go the state way. Now, Mark Steyn is an author and columnist, also hosted this program last night, great contributor on Fox and Friends, one of our favorite all-time guests. Now, Mark, why is it a big deal that the Attorney General of New York has an interest in this investigation and is providing documents in this investigation, reportedly? Well,
Schneiderman, for a start, is an explicitly political Attorney General, which is actually something that is malodorous in itself.
A declared Democrat.
Yeah, that's right. When I testified to Ted Cruz's committee in the Senate a couple of years ago, I cited Schneiderman for essentially doing an end run around the First Amendment. In other words, this is a sleazy guy who likes politically driven prosecutions and investigations. And that's exactly what he did with ExxonMobil is now what he's doing with Trump. He's just, as you say, he's written a blog post claiming that what all these acts he's taken as Attorney General have in common is that they all go after Trump. The Attorney General, in any system of cabinet government, the Attorney General is supposed to be the least partisan member of any cabinet or any administration because he is there to administer the laws, which are administered not on the grounds of whether you're left-wing or right-wing, but on the grounds of the fact that you're a citizen equal before the law.
So what we wanted to see as Americans is an investigation to find out what the Russians did or didn't do in the election. So if you're seeing how many declared Democrats who aggressively gone after his access to more Trump documents than anybody else is playing a role, a former state senator, Democrat, who actually has been going back and forth with Trump since 2010 after first asking for a campaign contribution.
Right. And as you said, the point here is to prevent Trump being able to pardon these individuals. In other words, this is all about muscle. Mueller's concerned that because Trump is the president, when Mueller goes after Trump cabinet officials like Flynn, in the end, Trump can say, I'm going to pardon the guy. But he's gone to Schneiderman to say, OK, I want to lean on them. And they should know that if even if the president pardons you at the federal level, you're still going to be screwed over at the state level. That's actually a form of double jeopardy, as it were, for these guys.
So, I mean, put it this way, it's gotten personal already. So if you want an unbiased investigation, you don't work with Eric Schneiderman if you're Robert Mueller. No. Even if you think that Trump is innocent or guilty, you don't want the appearance. Now, the president's come back with him with some beauties, as he would say. He's called him a total loser and a lightweight. The president's called him Revlon eyes because he accuses him of wearing eyeliner. He also has two separate investigations going into the Trump organization. This is personal. This is not professional.
No.
And now he's president, and the Attorney General is trying to make a name for himself.
But look, it's everything that an independent investigation should not be. I mean, you had the guy, Comey, who, when he was removed as FBI director, then gets his mentor appointed special counsel, who then forms an alliance with a guy who's got a history. An independent counsel is supposed to be independent. I don't want to come the unassimilated foreigner on you, Brian. In Northern Ireland, when they had to have an investigation over decommissioning of arms, they got a Canadian general, because he's not connected to any of the players. When the Solomon Islands was in danger of going belly up, they got an Australian intelligence guy to go in there. Turks and Caicos, they bring in an English judge. You don't bring in a so-called independent counsel who's tied into everybody, who keeps on the team a bunch of hardcore Democrats who've been to Hillary's victory party, who brings in possibly the most partisan state attorney general in the country. Everything about this smells, and everything about it suggests that the real issue here is not foreign interference in the U.S. election, but domestic interference.
Think about the other probes and the other investigations. They sit back, and I know Democrats did criticize Ken Starr, but for the most part, you sit back and you keep your fingers crossed. You provide the documents and try to prove your innocence. Karl Rove, successful. Scooter Libby, not.
Right.
People don't like the way that went. They look back. But this president is different. He says, I got a problem with the upper echelon and the FBI. The rank and file, I don't have a problem with. Then he says, I have a problem with the types of attorneys and investigators that are going after this. Don't ever do that. Well, I did it. And now it's beginning to prove correct, and there's reason for concern. However, for those out there who think that the president's getting this the right way, I have to point out that there's some people that sense a different way. Michael Isikoff in today's playbook on Politico says the Mueller probe outgrows the witch hunt phase. He says sources familiar with the probe say that such a rapid conclusion, which his attorneys say, they say it's fanciful. It's going to continue. Mueller and his team are pursuing new leads, interrogating new witnesses, and collecting a mountain of new evidence, including subpoenaed bank records and thousands of emails. So, if this is in fact true, what is he doing?
Well, right now...
what does that have to do with Russia?
Right now, it's got nothing to do with Russia. He's got a couple of guys on things that were years before Trump ever ran for president, and he's got a couple of guys on process crimes, which are the most malodorous aspects of the FBI's powers. You and I know that if we went and talked to the FBI for 40 minutes, they could nail us on something or other that we misremembered there. That crime should not exist. It is particularly ludicrous in this investigation that people are having to plead guilty to lying to the FBI when you have things like an associate, whatever he is, associate deputy, deputy associate undersecretary of justice, who doesn't even tell the attorney general that he's been meeting with Christopher Steele and the Fusion GPS guys, and his wife works for Fusion GPS.
Bruce Orr.
Now, where's his not being fully forthcoming in the investigation? The FBI and the Department of Justice can lie to us, but if Flynn lies, that's it.
Mark Steyn, thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
More elements to this.